November 4th, 2024. Tomorrow is the day that some people are saying will forever change the world. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on. I think it's good to chat. I think if we can't communicate, we've lost everything. And I'm kind of sick, to be honest, of the political rhetoric, of the BS on all sides. I'm tired of the media being nothing more than a puppet for big business, for special interest groups with lots of money, and for the continuation of the ideologies by the shareholders and owners of those media companies. What would happen, I wonder, if you and I, people, the public, unplugged from all that crap and we just thought for ourselves? What would happen if we just voted our conscience? What would happen if we unplugged from this machine that we've created and just lived? Spent the weekend with some friends and was unplugged for a few of those days. I got some work done, but I tried to stay a little distant from the phone and more present in the moments that we were sharing together. And it feels good. It feels good to disconnect. I'm really tired of the "you're wrong, I'm right" mentality. Vote for my guy or my candidate, otherwise you're for the downfall of our country. Some things that I know are true. Our founders hated the idea of political factions. The political parties that we have now uh, are not new per se, but they're not something that the founders wanted. In fact, they were very scared of them. They thought that it was a terrible idea to develop these hard faction lines. Although going as far back as the founding, we had the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, something worth you digging into. One of those founders, one of the Anti-Federalists by the name of Patrick Henry, we know his speech, "Give me liberty or give me death." In that same speech, he said, and this is a quote that actually spawned the idea of Ignis Lux coffee, the flames on here. Patrick Henry said in that famous speech, "I have but one lamp by which my feet are guided." And he was talking about the lamp of experience, the experience of his life, the experience of the information that he gathered around him. What would happen if we just began to use our eyes, our ears, and take in information and use good logic and good reason? What would happen if we started to shun all of the rhetoric, the innuendo, the bullshit, and began to just live as free thinking people? Now, there's a challenge to that because we go off the deep end where now science no longer is real because we've seen things that was backed by scientists. We no longer believe in science. And I'm not pointing out any particular thing, but I have people that tell me uh, all manner of nonsense about very well established scientific beliefs based on the scientific process, which is repeatable experimentation. You could do the experiment, I could do the experiment, he or she could do the experiment, and we'd get a same result. That's what the scientific process really is, right? The validation of information or of facts through experimentation. We have got to the point now where everything's thrown out because we question everything. It's cool, sure, question everything, but I'm not going to walk up on my roof and jump off because I don't believe in gravity, right? The lamp of experience has taught me enough times that gravity is real. The lamp of experience has taught me that if I put my hands in the flames of a fire, I'm probably going to end up burned, hurt, or even dead if I linger there too long, right? The lamp of experience. I think right now in our country, many of us are allowing ourselves to be used as fuel for the fires of mongrels, of monsters, of hacks, of thieves, of corporate pukes, of political dirtballs, and all points in between. We are donning their hats and their shirts. And I'll tell you what, you might love one of the candidates running for president. One might be better for you, and that's cool. That's your right to have that opinion, and I respect your right to have that opinion. But these are not the best of us. These are not the best of us by far, but That's not really the point either. The point is that we have this political system that we, the people, have created. We, the people, have fed like fuel, that I said a moment ago, the fires of these media machines through the tweets and the Facebook posts and the Instagram posts and the TikTok and the YouTube. We have fed it. We have given them the things that they have needed to fan and build these flames. There were good candidates that never stood a chance because good people did not carry the load of liberty on their behalf. They're good candidates every election, but those candidates require the work of people. That's how the process works. There is no perfect process. It's a uh, a fight, just like winning student council. It's a marketing game. It's a game of who's the coolest dude or the coolest girl. It's a sales and marketing program at its finest, and it's expensive. And it's the same thing Coca-Cola does, and Pfizer does, and Ford, and Chevy, and Toyota, and name any company. It's the same thing. It's spending boatloads of cash to get you, the customer, the voter, to vote or buy the product. Votes are just like buying cheeseburgers. Votes are just like buying a car or a truck. Votes are just like going to this concert or that football game versus another. We're creating a sales pitch around a person, and we want to get you emotionally invested so that you spend all your free time reading and fanning those flames. Here's what I hope. I hope that we take a look at history and we understand that for all of time, archaeologists have figured this out long ago. Hundreds of thousands of years of humans on this earth, and they fought. There is skulls caved in with clubs and axes. There are people with their heads chopped off that we have found their bodies, their corpses. Read the scripture and you will see the violence that was inflicted by the Israelites all over the Middle East that carries on to this day. Go look across the Americas, Central, South, North, and you will see great havoc wreaked by the indigenous peoples of all of the Americas on each other. They enslaved each other. They took each other's lands. They took each other's hunting grounds. Go to the continent of Africa or Asia. Go to places like Australia, and you will see the same story play out over and over. My God's better than your God. My tribe or people is better than yours, and so we're going to take you over. None of this stuff is new. The reason that this great experiment of liberty worked as long as as long as it has, is because the common goal of liberty. And while we look back and we can point fingers and we say, well, slavery was bad, or which is horrible, or us stripping the lands of natural resources and pushing out the indigenous peoples. All those things are not cool, but there's not a society on this earth that's without blame. And that's not, sometimes I'll say these things and people will say, you're just pushing it under the rug. No, I'm using observation to understand that this is human behavior. Polar bears pull seals from the ocean and eat them. Worms crawl through the soil, finding things to devour. All life consumes life. We have a moral and ethical code that becomes the body of our laws, and with that body of laws, we rule. Our country and the liberty that we have has been slowly eroded because we have decided that we would continue to put layer upon layer upon layer of security to give us the shield and the mantle of government to protect us from the freedom that could hurt us. Just like we could step off that cliff and fall, we now have paid with our tax dollars for guardrails everywhere to protect us from our own demise because we cannot handle that liberty. It's up to us. It's up to nobody else. It's not up to the government. It's not up to your mommy. It's not up to figures in high or dark places. It's up to you. It's up to you to go use the experience that your eyes and your ears and your other senses have given you. You have this book of experience that resides here and here, and you can make good decisions based on that. Who you vote for, what things you're going to teach your children, how you are going to interact in your community. It is nothing new for evil to take place. It is nothing new for men to become selfish and completely motivated by their own desires. The thing that has allowed this union to last this long, it's not religion. People will say it's God. Well, I'll argue with you. It is this pure and unadulterated love for liberty. There is no God without liberty. And some of you will push back on that. What I mean by that is you can't worship freely. Go to Nazi Germany. Go to China, where they would actually imprison people for preaching, right? Go to these other places and see how that works for you. Without liberty, there is no expression that's worth having. Art, music, science has been suppressed through religion and government for all of time. This does not align and allow us to keep the power that we have, so they will crush it. That flame of liberty that our founders created with years of war, and these people were not aligned then. Read the story of Benedict Arnold. Read the story of Knox and Glover and all of the others that lived at that time, and they did good, bad, right, and wrong. Some were amazing men, some were traitors, some were slaveholders, some were shopkeepers, tyrants, dirtbags, heroes. It took them all. It took them all to tell the story that brought us to this day. What's your story? I'm nobody special. All I want to do is be able to observe the world around me and make choices based on that information. And I know for a fact, through a diligent study of our history, that we've been here many times. We're going to be fine. We've been through way worse, and we've had way less at our disposal. The knowledge of the whole world is at your fingertips through these electronic devices. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. And don't let the political machines divide your family, divide your neighborhoods, divide your communities, and divide you into feeling like hope is lost. Because I truly believe, based on the lamp of experience that guides us through our history, that we're going to be okay. Because it's the American fucking spirit that will prevail, that has prevailed, that will continue to prevail. It's the tireless few that have beat those flames and continued to fan them. The brush fires that they talked about in those early days. This metaphor of brush fires being lit. That's you. That's you. And it doesn't just mean because you vote for a certain guy. It's never been that way. It's never been one political party. Again, I challenge you to go read about the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, a dichotomy of thought. One wanted a constitution. One said, no, we don't want a constitution. Can you imagine a constitutionless society? It would basically be Mad Max. Not all of them got everything right. And we don't always get everything right. Argue in good faith. Try to understand the viewpoint of others. There are some things that are unequivocally wrong if you understand and believe in right and wrong. Hurting children is wrong. Looting cities, taking things that don't belong to you is wrong. Violating the laws that we agree upon as a society to be good moral laws is wrong. Be well. Don't be dickheads. Tomorrow the sun's going to come up. Tomorrow the sun's going to set. We're still going to be here. I guarantee it. Not because I'm smart and know anything special, but because it's all happened before. The lamp of experience is there to guide us, as Henry said. Be well. Don't be dickheads. Tell somebody you love them. Vote your conscience. And remember, you and you alone can continue to proliferate the liberty that was handed to us. Bye now.